everybody, welcome back. So I will say now, happy Easter to everybody that celebrates it. I hope everybody is having a nice few days off this weekend. Again, for those of you that get the bank holidays, I'm super excited about it because it means I get to spend a whole extra day with my husband and our dogs. So we're going to go out and maybe have a little adventure somewhere. So I will be bringing some British countryside photographs to you next week. So, you know, I said I couldn't bring myself to listen to the podcast. It's not changed. I did try. I started it about 3 or 4 times on a dog walk, and the moment I heard her voice, I just couldn't do it, guys. And to be honest with you, it's already been dissected. Lots of other YouTubers have spoken about it anyway. I don't think that I could bring anything new to the party at this stage. And yeah, I'm just gonna sit the first 2 out, but I definitely won't get away with not listening to the 3rd one because I've agreed to meet up with the fabulous Jen from the Real Housewives recap, and we will be talking about episode 3 next week. I will let you know when the video is going to drop, as I'm sure Jen will as well. So it's not just me that's suffering from Meghan Markle fatigue. Even the paparazzi in California have spoken out and said, we just don't want to deal with them anymore. They're sick to the back teeth of them. They are just not worth the hassle. Seasoned paparazzo Mark Coloff explained in an interview to Tech Report that when the couple first came to California, it was a mad scramble to find them and the pictures would have been worth a lot of money. But he said at the same time, they were running around doing mock photo ops, they were doing setups, and they would use their own photographers, leaving the paparazzi frustrated. I don't think it comes as a shock to any of you that Meghan is setting up her own paparazzi stunts whilst also simultaneously complaining that she won't be left alone. Honestly, you cannot make it up. She was doing paparazzi strolls when she first started dating Harry, when she first started coming to London, to be honest with you, and then when she was dating Harry in the run up to the wedding, after the wedding, when they went to Canada. I mean, who can forget this gem? Meghan was saying she was fearing for her life as she grins manically walking towards the 2 paparazzi hiding in bushes. Come on, ladies, or even gents, if you saw 2 random men hiding in bushes, that would put the fear of God in you anyway. But here she is, holding her child, apparently. This is the one instance I do believe it was a doll, just for the simple fact she's got the baby in a headlock, there is string holding up his hand around her neck, there's one shoulder strap is slipping off, there's no support, and the child is hanging like it's dead. I mean, I have carried my nieces and nephews and my friends' children. Children just don't generally swing like that. The fact is that there were lots of takes. One minute the security guys had their hats on and then they didn't have their hats on, and it was just ridiculous. And as I said, fearing for her life with her young son with her as she grinned like a crazy person walking towards the men hiding in bushes. I mean, if I was those men, I would have found her far more scary. And what's it with her carrying her 2 dogs, which are big dogs, on her 2 fingers while she's carrying her child as well? I mean, she's got 2 security guys behind her, which I'm sure would have helped her. The whole setup just stank. Then, of course, you've got the New York car chase, right? The fact is that buildings all around New York have security cameras. People have dash cams in their cars. People, tourists everywhere in New York with their iPhones, taking selfies, filming everything, all hours of the night. Not a single person captured any part of this high-speed car chase with big blacked out SUVs, with crazed paparazzi on mopeds. Again, it absolutely stank. But a paparazzi came forward then when it was all coming out and said, actually, Harry and Meghan's team had pre-arranged for them to do photographs when they left the venue. Remember, Harry and Meghan arrived in their motorcade and they went in through the underground car park next to the Hertz store. This was where people said her dress looked like she was advertising for the car company. Well, when they left, rather than exiting safely in the underground car park where they could have split them up into multiple cars, because of course Doria and Marcus Anderson was with them as well, they decided to close off the pavement, allow a big build-up, a frenzy of people to be outside, and then Harry and Meghan walked straight past. Meghan did a few coy grins and a few waves. They didn't stop. They got in the vehicles. So the paparazzi then started following them. Harry and Meghan created the cat and mouse chase on purpose so then they could go, oh, we're being chased. So to hear Mr. Kolev telling this story that Harry and Meghan set up their photo ops doesn't surprise me at all. He also said that he did shoot them a couple of times at events when they first arrived in California, but because the photographs were not exclusive, he wouldn't get much money for the shots. And he said that they want control, especially Meghan. That should come as no shock to anybody. So Meghan, oh gosh, they won't leave me alone. She's literally arranging them herself, which I just find that completely laughable. So the whole theme of this video is to do with people, you know, just losing interest in the couple. I've lost interest in Meghan because she's everywhere. We're completely oversaturated with her, like I said, since the 1st of January. I mean, it's every day. It's news reports, it's complaints, it's launches, it's photographs, it's award shows. It's just continuous, and people are sick to the back teeth of going, oh look, it's Meghan again, oh look, it's Harry again. But this story really does need a discussion because it's to do with Harry losing interest in Sentebale. Now the headlines are saying Harry lost interest in Sentebale because he married Meghan, or since he married Meghan. I don't think you can blame Meghan for this whole mess over at Sentebale. Yes, the polo match, absolutely, she was very, very rude to Sophie Chanduka. But when it comes to the organisation on a whole, since it started way back in 2006, there have been problems for a long time before Meghan even had her toe through the palace gates. Harry losing interest in the charity he set up in his mother's memory back in 2006 alongside Prince Sisu of Lesotho should shock no one. And it was true because the newspapers reported that when Harry went in October last year, that was his first visit in 6 years. And it was Dr. Chanduka that had asked for Harry to come over to spend time with everybody to hear, well, as we know, perhaps some of the problems. Now I have a better understanding why Harry was sitting around that campfire with a face like a slapped arse. Harry had not bothered to visit the country or the children, nor to see what work was being carried out to help those who he pledged he would forever help as a teenager. Let's not forget baby Kiki, who Harry was nearly moved to tears over when he held her in his arms when he was just 19 years old after learning of the ordeal that she went through. I can't talk about what she went through because it will set me off emotionally, but it was very, very horrific, and it's a miracle that she survived. But this little baby had inspired Harry to set up the organisation in his mother's memory. This is the story that we were told. I'm actually inclined to believe that it again was perhaps something that was suggested to him by the palace. But either way, Sentebale was created because Harry was inspired and he wanted to help all of these young children that have been affected by HIV and AIDS. But at the time, he also vowed to support Kiki throughout the rest of her life, through her education, everything. Harry pledged at the time, I say pledged for a very good reason, that he was committed to making sure at the back of his mind that Kiki had the best start in life that Harry in his position was able to help her with. Well, fast forward to 3 years later, Kiki had been abandoned by Sentebale. She was living with her grandmother alongside several of her siblings, and they were surviving on 82p per day. The grandmother spoke to the reporters at the time and said that they came in 2013 and they gave some milk and some clothes and £22, and then that was it. They didn't come back until 2015, where they then said that they would commit to helping her with her education, and that of course came to nothing as well. She was completely abandoned by the organisation. But the thing is, Harry knew about it, and it's said in one of these news reports that I've read that the prince was informed, but he understands Sentebale works in such a way, blah, blah, blah. If you were the founder of that organisation, right? If you were Prince Harry and that baby that you held in your arms that horrified you, her story, and inspired you so much, and you found out she'd been completely abandoned multiple times and was living in poverty, going to a dirty school, she had no help with her medical costs according to her grandmother either, not being fed and clothed, and certainly no support with her education, you get your ass on a plane. I can tell you I would, and I would be straight into those offices and I would want bloody answers. The same as I do with the African parks, to find out those allegations that have been going on with the monstrosities being committed towards the Baka people. Harry could literally just storm in there and turn around and say, I'm stepping down, I'm not going to promote you until this is thoroughly investigated. Oh, he stepped down from being the president to the board of directors, but he was quite happily promoting them, wasn't he, in New York last year? Big smile on his face talking about the organisation. He doesn't give a single shit about the Baka people any more than he does Kiki, as far as I'm concerned. That is my opinion, and as you can tell, I'm not very happy. This has angered me so much so, and this is where I'm saying that Harry cannot be held solely responsible for this, but Sentebale as an organisation, I am glad that Dr. Chanduka has done this investigation, and I hope we find out the truth, because this will get some of your blood boiling. In Lesotho, a few yards from the Sentebale headquarter gates, lives a very poor grandmother called Leketsu. She is looking after 5 young orphans that are her grandchildren because their mother died from HIV. She watched in awe as the huge motorcade drove past with Harry inside last October when he was on his way to celebrate 2 decades of Sentebale's work. Lekitsu said that he did not stop, he did not wave, he did not ask to speak to anybody. She said that she had previously gone to the gates at the Sentebale HQ and begged for food and for clothes, but was told no. Sentebale was set up in this village where this lady lives because it was meant to be helping those children for those exact circumstances. And she lives a stone's throw from the Sentebale HQ, and they are living in poverty. Now, she is not the only example that was given in this news report. Another building, yet again a stone's throw away from the HQ, is a charity-run school for local HIV orphans. And he has no funding and struggles to feed the hungry children aged 3 to 6 years old. And in the car park of the HQ, they have plush 4x4s, limousines. Check this out, on their website, the bungalows that are inside this little posh compound that they built, you can rent them out on holiday or for a retreat. How can anybody working at Sentebale look out at those windows with their nice air-conned room, I'm presuming, with all of those luxuries that are there, and see those children living in that sort of poverty right outside the gates and with a clear conscience do nothing to help them? So pardon me, but where the has all that money gone? They've raised millions over the years under the Royal Foundation. You are talking not just the big polo matches, but huge benefactors from abroad, international donations, posh dinners. I mean, they have raised a lot of money, and yet they're in Lesotho, literally smack bang with the Sentebale HQ, and you've got people living like that around them. I'm honestly baffled by it. So whilst they do say that Harry lost initial interest since he married Meghan, it's clear to me that lots of people at Sentebale lost interest in the welfare of those impoverished children in Lesotho long before the wedding in 2018. Harry, since marrying Meghan, has forgotten many things. His family, his friends, his loyalty, his honour, his ability to tell the truth, and more importantly, who he was brought up to be, the things that he was meant to be able to do with this unbelievable platform that he was given by birth, the things that he could have continued to do, and he gave it all up to chase fame and fortune like a D-list celebrity. Now, Harry isn't the only one that seems to have forgotten a lot of things. It seems that Meghan has forgotten that she was actually a joint founder of Archewell. It seems that Meghan's recent success has gone to her head and she doesn't have to fake being a humanitarian anymore. In the upcoming Time 100 summit, where Meghan is listed as a keynote speaker, where she and lots of other people get to pat themselves on the back and tell themselves how fabulous they are, because this particular summit is celebrating the world's most influential people. I think we all know when it comes to Time 100 or any of these little accolades that Harry and Meghan collect, it's all about buying awards, isn't it? To make themselves feel important. Meghan gets to appear alongside other celebrities. I mean, real celebrities, people that have actually worked hard, that have built careers and actually, you know, created something out of their own hard grit rather than just marrying a prince. But she gets to appear alongside them and pretend that she is one of these super influential people. Whatever floats your boat, Meg, but I think we all know the truth. But Meghan is listed as Meghan, Duchess of Sussex. Of course, she's got to have the title in there. But founder of As Ever. I think it's a little bit early to be jumping the gun as being founder of As Ever. I mean, she hasn't even finished getting it trademarked yet. And she did a quick flash in a pan sale of her products, and as we know, they massively oversold. And I have seen a lot of people complaining that they are not getting refunds, they've lost orders. It just seems, in typical Meghan fashion, another slow motion car crash waiting to happen. But much like Meghan wants everybody to forget that she started up American Riviera Orchard and all of the other things that she's done that she's flopped at. I mean, Pearl on Netflix, I mean, Archetypes. There is just a continuous list. It seems now that she doesn't want people to associate herself with Archewell. Meghan, remember, it was to be a life of service. She was committed to philanthropy, and now she's doing that one jam of raspberry sauce at a time. Everybody, I always say this, everybody with a brain cell, but you've got a small number of people that do not believe that Meghan and Harry only set up Archewell, which was a blueprint. I think it was the Clinton model, and it's what lots of celebrities do. This is why celebrity foundations are more often than not a complete scam. It's basically a get-rich scheme. It gives them tax avoidance. It allows them to get government grants. It's a way that rich people can funnel money between each other. It's all a little bit shady and a bit murky. Harry and Meghan aren't doing a lot different to what a lot of other people do, but I don't think everyone else is quite as obvious as those two. But it does make me wonder, Meghan distancing herself from Archewell, is this because of the recent investigations to do with fraud, misspending of money, and the US aid being cut off? Because I find it all rather suspicious, don't you? And then, of course, you've got, as the Royal Grift pointed out, you've got Ashley Biden being investigated by the IRS, who Harry and Meghan paid $250,000 donation to go towards a women's centre that hadn't even been opened at the time. So I can imagine that Meghan has had the wind put up her, or at least her business lawyers have. So now she's gradually distancing herself from Archewell before the doo-doo hits the fan. The one thing that I would say Harry and Meghan definitely have in common, well, aside from the constant victim mentality, the narcissism, the world owes them everything, entitlement. Okay, they're two peas in a pod. But another thing that these two are absolutely great at is when the going gets tough, or rather things don't go their way, they cut and run. Call me cynical, but I can't help but feel that perhaps Meghan's just thinking it's one less complication when she decides to send the rings back via FedEx. Now, lots of people say, oh no, she'll never leave him. Oh, she will. She's just got to line up the next stupid rich duck, as it were, and she will be out of there. The fact is that she's now got herself as a keynote speaker for Time 100 without the Ginger Prince being at her side. I say that his goose is nearly cooked. So guys, tell me your thoughts. I hope you have a lovely Easter weekend if I don't see you between now and next week, just because it depends what happens in the news. But take care, have a lovely Easter, and I will see you soon. Bye.